the economy was in a disaster, and they were revising all the economic numbers down every month.
Although Carla, I want to say welcome, good afternoon, and welcome back to the program to Carla Sands, who's the American ambassador to Denmark during Donald Trump's first term. Carla, welcome back.
And John, it's great to be with you and your listeners.
Thank you for returning, Carla. Now, as someone who has served as an ambassador under President Trump in the past, as someone who was a keen supporter of Donald Trump and his way of doing things, what are you hoping for this meeting with the British Prime Minister?
Well, that they establish a good relationship. President Trump has said pleasing things about Keir Starmer, and we need Great Britain to be a strong ally and partner. We want to see the UK economy do great, and I hope that Keir Starmer will actually listen to the people. With the cost of energy going up, skyrocketing in the UK, and so many people suffering under things like the net zero that he's putting forward. I hope he turns his back on this communist and anti-human scheme of net zero and benefits the people of UK with abundant energy, with diverse sources. And then I hope that he turns his back on DEI, because we can see that it's destroying the beautiful society and culture of the UK.
I mean, those views, you'll know very well, Carla, are absolutely very much at odds with the thinking of the British government and a large swathe of political opinion in this country. If you were there advising the president, would you be advising him to air those views, to put those views to Keir Starmer, which would seem to be a confrontational way of going about things? Would it be a good idea?
Well, I think it's something that the people of the UK should press on their prime minister. In the case of President Trump, he's an incredible diplomat. He is going to make things really comfortable, I think, for the prime minister. He's going to encourage what the prime minister has said about increasing defense spending, becoming a more credible NATO ally. You know, when you think about today that the UK could not prosecute the war in the Falklands because of the collapse of the capabilities of our great ally, the UK, the great former sea power, it's pretty alarming. The US is having the same problem. I'm not saying it's only the UK.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we cannot allow our defenses to collapse, especially when China is building up their military and especially their navy. They have a bigger navy now than the United States.
Yeah, Carla, I'll just read this message in from one of our listeners, Adam. He says, I'm listening from New York, and for what it's worth, says, Adam, the Americans I talk to are as terrified about Trump as everyone is in the UK. That's Adam's view. I guess, I mean, you just can't take that at face value because America is so deeply divided in this way, Carla. There'll be a very large slice of America very happy or reasonably happy with what the president's doing, and just as much as there are so many in America now who are bitterly opposed.
But John, all Americans are going to benefit from the cost of goods coming down. Now, there's going to be some rocky times as we fix the really yucky sandwich that President Trump was handed to by the Biden and Harris administration.
Yeah.
The economy was in a disaster, and they were revising all the economic numbers down every month.
Although, Carla, prices are not coming down. They are going up, aren't they?
No, they're going to go up a little bit before they come down, because what we're doing right now, President Trump, like I said, got handed a really bad economy and a crushing debt. Our debt is now, just the payments on our debt, interest, is now more than our payment to our military, to our defense. So he's got a lot. He's got Doge in there looking for waste and finding where we have redundancies and we don't need certain people. And when people say it's going to hurt the U.S. economy because we remove some of these people from government, it's not true. When people work in the private sector, it's beneficial for the economy. When they're a government employee, the taxpayers are paying, and government business, whatever it is, big numbers, crowds out private investment and private companies. It's the same the world over.
Well, let's talk about prices in America, because a good deal of the president's popularity was built on a promise to bring down prices and the argument that the cost of living was too high, and President Donald Trump was going to do something about that, helped him get elected. Now, the president is now announcing new tariffs on trade on goods coming into America from Mexico and from Canada, and steeper tariffs on goods coming in from China. Those are going to have the effect, Carla, aren't they, of putting up prices. They'll add to the cost of living. They won't take away from the cost of living.
Well, it's going to help American jobs and American working people. Here's what I'll say about the tariffs. America has been treated very, very badly in our trade deals around the world. And I don't blame the other countries. It's in their interest to get the best deal they can. I blame American government workers that did those deals. They're terrible negotiators. And what I see is, for instance, last week, I think not UK, European cars from the EU, when they were coming into the US, we were charging about 2.5% tariff, but US cars going to the EU, they charge us 10%. So 4x the tariffs. What we want is a level playing field. And President Trump has said, look, if you charge us 50% tariff, we're going to charge you 50%. I like that. That's going to bring tariffs down around the world, because people are not going to be able to sell their goods if they don't have a low enough tariff. So what he's doing is, in a kind of nice way, he's going to get other countries to lower their tariffs so that everyone's tariffs are lower and we can all trade more.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the countries facing those tariffs wouldn't consider what's being done is being done in a nice way. But certainly Keir Starmer, when he sits down...
But wait a second, that's reciprocity. Doing unto others as they do unto you is called reciprocity. It's about a level playing field. If one country is charging us 20% and we charge 2%, that's not a level playing field. Reciprocity isn't unkind. It's actually fair play, right? Everybody playing on the same level field.
Well, I mean, the use of tariffs, let me just pursue this just for a moment, but the use of trade tariffs, because it's relevant to the president's foreign policy. The use of trade tariffs to twist the arms of otherwise friendly governments, like
it's
Denmark.
It's not arm twisting at all.
Allow me to put the point, and I'm keen to hear. Let me put the point, and I'm keen to hear your answer. The threat of using tariffs against a country like Denmark, if they do not hand over Greenland, it's fair to call that arm twisting, and it's not about trade policy. That is about foreign policy coercion. That is the argument. Do please answer that.
Well, John, so I don't speak for the president or the administration. These views are my own, and I will just say this: Denmark doesn't own Greenland. Greenland's going independent. Denmark, as a country, hasn't seemed to wrap their heads around the fact that Greenland's leaving. Greenland has said, we're leaving the kingdom.
Well, they don't want to join the United States because that's been tested.
Well, but they have to join someone. They're not going to be able to defend themselves. They have no army, no navy.
That's their choice. That's their choice, surely, Carla.
We're not going to let them fall into enemy hands. I mean, China tried to pull them into the Belt and Road Initiative in 2017. Russian subs and Chinese ships and Russian ships are all around in those giant seas around Greenland. And we're not going to let Greenland fall into adversarial hands.
All right. Last one very briefly, and again, thanks for joining us. When it comes to tariffs, do you think there should be a special case for Britain?
I love Britain. The UK has the most beautiful culture and society, and many of our American citizens, their ancestors came to the New World from Great Britain, from the kingdom. And I'm so sad to see the UK losing your great culture by trying to do DEI and not treat your beautiful culture as superior to others and elevate it. I hope that we get a great trade deal with the UK. I know the UK wants one, but as a matter of fact, the UK needs to get back to core values and preserve the wonderful country and society that you have. When I see what's happening in your country, that the borders are open and you're being invaded by not friendly people, my heart weeps for the UK. I want England and the whole kingdom to stay strong. And I see what's happening even in Ireland. It's a disaster. They're forcing people that don't share values or culture into small villages, and it's overturning the UK. And I'm so sad for all of you.
All right. Well, look, Carla, thank you for sharing your views, and for what it may or may not be worth. I follow what's going on in this country every hour of every day, and I'm not aware of British culture being destroyed by an invasion from anywhere, actually, or by DEI policies wrecking the fabric of the country.
The Rochelle rape gangs are a great example. For decades, that was happening and being hidden by government officials that just didn't want to deal. They'd put a father trying to protect his daughter in jail, not the rapist.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. And with thanks to you for talking to us, Carla Sands, former American ambassador to Denmark during Donald Trump's first term.